Totally, yeah.
So that was really, really cool.
Tricks and traps.
Yeah, that was such a good level.
Yeah.
I liked playing those levels because I don't know them. Like when they're made by somebody else, I don't know them, and so it's really fun to go through something I don't know for the first time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yep.
E3M6 actually was the first time I was really excited about a Doom level.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that was the
Mount Erebus.
Yeah.
The super outdoor
outside.
one. Yep.
Yeah, the outdoor one, and that was
Yeah,
was. I have a feeling that Tom started that one, and then Sandy finished that one.
Okay.
But that was the first rocket jump. Actually.
Yep. To get to the secret level, you had to rocket. You had to get the invulnerability,
and then rocket jump yourself down.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was pretty funny that was even there.
Had y'all discovered, like, at the time of Quake 1, while you were developing Quake 1, had you discovered the rocket jump? Like,
no,
because there wasn't anything in that game that catered to it.
Not at all. That was totally after the game launched, and we saw that it was like. Is the whole game ruined now? Because you can just go anywhere. So I was really worried about the design of the game after that was found out. And it's funny because we were playing it not like that.
Yeah.
Figured that people would play the same way. So didn't feel like people would, like the game was ruined so much.
Yeah.
But it was kind of scary, just like, wow, I need to check all the levels right now. Because I could edit this game, and put out a patch.
Right, yeah.
Before I take off.
But no, yeah, I mean, I think I think there's a few places where you can kind of shortcut, but yeah, it doesn't really break anything.
Yeah, well, it's ridiculous. If you see Quake done quick.
Oh yeah.
E2M1 is 5 seconds.
Yep.
And that's a nice big level. I spent so much time on that level, and then like 5 seconds, it's over. Like, what the? I mean, it's pretty fun. That's one of those things that also was like, these challenges are really cool, like getting through a level really fast.
Yeah, because people are getting creative to do that stuff.
I couldn't believe, the one, E2M5, the Wizard's Man's one, the one that has the water. You go into water and it kills you almost.
Yeah, like just dunks you and keeps
loads you up with 75 health, get inside that elevator, and then you're like, kaploosh, first time in a game. That never happens, right? And so you're like, blah, blah, like the whole time you're going in the passage, and it raises you up and gives you all your health back. But you're terrified during that time. So the guy who got 40 seconds on that level, like that takes up so much time. That's like a 30-something second ride. So what he did was he basically went in I think he jumped over the health, went around the health. And he got in that elevator, and what he did was, as he was pushing the button, he rocketed himself backwards to get out of there. But when I was making that room with the button in there, I was like, they're going to try and get out of here. If somebody knows about it, they're going to get out. So guess what? That's a Star Wars door. Right? So it's like... And so what he did was he rocketed himself so fast, he got stuck under the door. Like there's no faster way to get under it. So he's sitting there taking damage, and as soon as the door comes up, he runs back over the health he didn't get. And he's back to 100, and that's how he just blasts himself back to the exit of the level. It's insane. But yeah, it was cool to see people doing that.
Yeah, like that's why I never get mad at speed. Like I saw a speed run of my BioShock level where people they routed around this like big part, but they did something ridiculous. Like it was really, really innovative and creative. So I was like, no normal player is going to do that. That's not mere mortals. Don't know to do that.
You don't worry about it. Yeah, you don't worry about.
I don't worry about that.
The world ruining the game now.
Yeah. Was this? I forget. There was one level from episode 1 that y'all rebuilt in the Quake 1 engine, right? Like I remember seeing early screenshots of Quake 1 that had a Doom level that was just rebuilt, but it was showing off all the stuff you could do with.
Okay, that was the beginning of E1M5.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the first those first Quake screenshots.
Yeah.
It was like, here's what E1M5 looks like if it was medieval. You know? So that's what that was. It was E1M5, and I didn't keep it as a secret or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it was just like, let's see what it looks like, and it's so funny. Like I did that, and now everybody recreates games in other levels, in other games, you know?
Yeah, including me, apparently.
It's funny, when, so Tom Hall, you know the game Prey?
Yeah.
So Tom Hall actually designed that whole game, and he was working on it.
That's right,
while he was at 3D Realms. And while he was waiting for that engine to get made.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're all like trying to make Quake while the engine is being written, and it took a year. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like a year of okay, I guess I'll keep deleting my data. You know.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a year of that, and so we basically kind of learned after that point, but like other people hadn't learned.
Yeah.
Wow, what do you do when your engine takes a year?
Yeah.
You know, how do you make a game? What do you do with your whole dev team you're sinking money into and they can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
So what happened during that was Tom basically used Quake to make the levels for Prey.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, it's like, well, the engine's going to kind of be like Quake anyway, so let's just make all the levels in here.
Yep. So wow, did any of that ever?
Didn't carry on? No,
okay.
Because what happened is Tom left to go to Ion Storm with me.
Yeah. Yep.
Put the project on ice until years later.
Yeah.
And then Human Head.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
So I actually worked on, like, very briefly. My first job in the industry was at Human Head, and so I worked on a few different things.
That's amazing.
And so, like, it was only really like a few months, before I moved on to another project at Human Head. But yeah, I worked on the Human Head version of Prey, really, like, just for a little bit.
That's
like,
interesting.
I mean, it was, everybody else did like the
everything,
real, but yeah,
Ben
because
Goki,
like after Tom, Ben Goki, yeah,
Sumwalt, like all those guys, Shane Gurno, and the thing is, like, that was Tom's game. That was his design. You know, they changed a couple of things, but like that was the whole thing. It was
like the portals and like the alien
upside down walking and all that stuff was all Tom stuff. And interestingly, so do you know like how Human Head started?
Well, yeah, it was some guys. It was basically like the Heretic 2 team. It was several people from the Heretic 2 team that split off and formed the studio, right?
So that was my Heretic and Hexen team.
Yeah,
they did go on to do Heretic 2, but those were the guys I worked with.
Okay,
when I was making those games.
Yeah, definitely.
Raven.
Yeah, Ben, I remember him.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. I worked with every single one of them.
Yep.
You know, Kevin Schilder didn't come over, but he was Raven's music guy, and he kind of stayed there. But while I was working on Daikatana, Ben basically called me up and just like said, "I got to get out of here. We got to get out of here." We just did Mage Slayer and this other, I can't remember what the other game was, but they made these games in between. Basically, the Dream Team got broken up into pieces.
Yeah, that's right.
All over Raven, and they did not like that because they liked working together.
Right.
So basically, he called up and just said,
"Yep,
we got to get out of here." So I said, "Okay, I'll give you guys a deal then."
Yeah.
So I basically gave him $250,000 to start working on Daikatana 2.
Yes, that's right. There were I remember seeing a little bit of concept art maybe that Jim Sumwalt maybe did for Daikatana 2. And then a little later, maybe they were talking like after like.
It was only for like 4 months that they worked on it before I finally went, okay, we're not going to do Daikatana 2 anymore.
Yeah.
Take everything and go forth and have fun. You don't have to pay any of it back.
Yeah. I think they went from that to, this was before I joined. Like I joined in 2000. But yeah, and then they were talking with Epic about Unreal 2, I guess.
Yeah.
And then that got them into using the Unreal Engine, which
they were using the Unreal Engine for Daikatana 2.
That's right, yeah, because everybody was licensing Unreal 1 at that point.
Yeah, and we were using Unreal for Deus Ex.
Yeah, that's
so we were just like, here you go.
Yeah, totally.
Use this engine, and so they got good at Unreal when they made Rune right after the DK2 stuff stopped.
Yeah. Ben is basically like he's who convinced me that or just got me into programming. Basically, I was a level designer at the time, and then he we would just start talking about code and like these old games like
you were just asking
stuff. Yeah. I mean, and he was just really happy to talk about stuff. And I was like, I really want to learn how to program. And so I started programming Unreal Tournament mutators, actually, which was like a really easy way to get into it. It was basically like Quake C kind of,
simple.
And then from there, I just like got more and more into it. But like him being
cool.
like, I mean, he's a programmer with.
He's a really good programmer.
Yeah, he's a really good programmer, and he had like a really good game design sense as well.
Yeah, he
and
did.
So like that combination convinced me like, game designers should know how to program because you can do a lot with that. Yeah.
He did a really great job. I mean, from Black Knight on, or Black Crypt.
Yeah, Black Crypt. Yeah, Black Crypt on the Amiga.
And that's actually, Black Crypt is what got me wanting to work with Raven. Because we went over there, we were making the Commander Keen games.
Yep.
And went over to their place, and I saw their art, and I was like, holy crap, these guys are good. We got to get them using our tech.
Totally, yeah.
And so in 1991 is when I tried to get Raven to work with us, but they wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
they thought the Amiga was going to be everything.
Yep.
And so I was just like, okay. It wasn't until '94 when I finally got to it was 3 years later when I finally got to make a game with those guys, but I knew them 3 years earlier.
Because then y'all had Doom at that point, and it was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, we had Doom, and we're starting on Doom 2, and so that's when I started the Heretic project with those guys. Yeah. This used to be a Nazi room.
Yep, that's right. Yep, and it was in the version that I played. Like y'all patched it in 1.2 or something, right?
Yeah, it was funny because we got a complaint. From someone saying, well, "What are you guys, Nazis? You did this again?" You know, because I put one in Commander Keen.
Oh, okay.
Because we're making Keen, at the very end, and it's like, well, we're gonna make Wolfenstein next. So I put a Nazi.
I always read this just as a Wolfenstein.
It's a Wolfenstein reference. Yeah. And people are like, you're. It's like, but I thought we were satanic.
Yeah, right. Wait a minute. Satan worshippers, not Nazis.
Which one are we? Are we all of them? And so John, and the only reason why I changed it is because Jay felt really strongly at the time to change it. So I'm like, fine, I don't even care. So I just put a couple blocks on it and changed it up a little bit. But to me, it's like it's almost like Disneyland. Disneyland has been changed so many times, right? Every time they change Disneyland, they refer to the previous iteration somewhere. There's always a previous reference, right? Yeah. So this is this is a Wolfenstein reference, but this is also, you can still kind of see it's a Nazi symbol somewhere. Somehow you could kind of make it out to be that, because if you just move that block over there and that block over there, there it is.
Yeah, it's just a few verts dragging. Well, and you'll put the Commander Keen in the secret level, and you had the whole Wolfenstein secret
and Pac-Man inside of Wolfenstein.
Reference to never ends.
It was like the game that got me into gaming, pretty much. It got me into making games. So there's 4, which was actually, that started out as a Tom Hall level.
Okay.
He started that level, and then I finished that level. Yeah. After he took off, then I was like, okay, you gotta finish this level up, And so I got that done,